And
Hi.
Matt. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have got a video for you that is all about pizza, which is one of my favorite things to eat. As you can see, am at my parents' house in Vermont, and one of the things that we gave them for Christmas this year was an Uuni pizza oven. And an Uuni pizza oven is like a portable pizza oven that gets up to 900 degrees. It's heated by either gas, wood pellets, or wood. And the one that we got them is the Uuni Karu, and it cooks pizza in literally like 60 to 90 seconds. It's incredible. So today we're gonna show you how to make pizza dough, and I'm actually going to be trying a new crust, and it actually is a gluten containing product, but it is called einkorn flour. And I've never actually personally tried einkorn before, but the company that I buy it from, which is Jovial Foods, I went to Italy with them in 2017 with my mom, and I filmed a couple videos there, so I'll link those up there. But they make einkorn flour, and einkorn is an ancient wheat. So it grows in Italy. The ones that they harvest grow in Italy. And because it is a really ancient variety of seed, it has not been hybridized. It hasn't been like treated or modified at all. And it actually has been shown to work with people who have gluten sensitivities. So I'm basically guinea pigging myself tonight, and we're gonna see how it does. I'm gonna just try it, and I'll let you know in the morning how I feel. I'll come back on this video and let you know how I feel. But I've just personally been kind of interested in reintroducing some gluten into my diet and just seeing how I feel. I personally have not tested for celiac disease. I've never been tested even for a gluten allergy. But if you don't know my story already, I went gluten-free and dairy-free about 10 years ago at this point. Maybe it was about 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago. And it immediately helped with my stomach issues. And so because of that, I never got tested. And I have kind of like had bites of things here and there, and they don't seem to bother me, but I've never like sat down and had a piece of bread or a piece of pizza or something like that that has gluten. So worst case scenario, I have probably a really bad stomach ache, but best case scenario, it doesn't really bother me, and perhaps this is something that I can start slowly incorporating back in. So we're gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna show you exactly how we make the pizza dough, and then I'll show you how we cook it in the Uuni, and hopefully it's just gonna be like a fun video for you guys to follow along and watch. I know you guys love the little vlogs that we do in Vermont, so you obviously saw that Matt was with me. That was the first time, guys, he's ever really shown his face in a video. So I'm hoping that I can like sneak him in more. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the pizza dough, and then I'll see you at the end of the video. So the first step is to make the dough. We're going to add our flour into a bowl, and I'm pretty sure my mom uses 300 grams of the einkorn flour. Then we will add a little bit of sea salt, and she'll get about 3/4 of a cup of warm water. And she's gonna add the yeast as well as honey. So yeast needs sugar to rise. You could add just sugar if you wanted, but she usually adds honey. And that just feeds the yeast, and it helps it bubble and activate so that when you add it into the flour, it will help everything rise. And then my mom likes to actually also add in just a touch of olive oil because she thinks it just helps add tenderness to the crust. And then once you have that mixed together, you can just pour your liquid directly into the dough and just stir it together with a wooden spoon. And this should come together pretty quickly. Once it does, she dumps it out onto a floured surface, and then she'll knead it. Usually regular gluten-filled dough needs to knead for like 5 to 10 minutes. Einkorn needs just a couple minutes, 2 to 3. So that's all she does. She just kneads it until it's smooth and feels kind of pliable. And then you'll set it aside in a oiled bowl. You want to make sure that it's oiled so that the dough doesn't stick to the bowl. Cover it and then place it somewhere that is warm, not hot, warm, for the pizza dough to rise. It takes a couple hours, so you do want to make sure that you have a couple hours ahead of time so that you can make sure that your pizza has enough time to rise. So now let's move outside to the Uuni, and I want to just kind of show you what the Uuni looks like. So here is the Uuni Karu. They have it on top of this like thing. This is our outside little patio. It has this cover that I think they bought, and my dad's gonna take it off and I'll show you. But this one is wood, so we just have like a bunch of little pieces of wood here, and you start a fire in the back. So to start it, you don't always need paper. My dad likes to use just a little bit of newspaper because he finds that it lights more quickly. So he adds a couple pieces of crumpled up newspaper. And then basically like you would build any kind of fire, you want to have quote unquote kindling first. So teeny tiny pieces of wood for the uni. That just helps the larger pieces of wood catch fire. So you're going to basically build a mini fire in the back of this pizza oven. So just, you know, start the fire like you would a regular wood stove fire or a fireplace fire. And then as it's burning, you can continue to add even larger pieces of wood in there so that it really does build up this consistent flame. One of the things with the uni is that you need to kind of constantly load it, not constantly, but you do need to keep very close eye on the fire to make sure that it is staying hot enough, because you want to make sure that the pizza stone and the pizza inside obviously is staying at a high enough temp so that it cooks the crust quickly. The goal with the uni is that you're going to put your pizza dough directly onto the slab, the pizza stone, and it's hot so that it cooks the bottom of the crust quickly, and then the fire, which kind of goes on the top of the crust, cooks the crust quickly on the top as well. Anyway, so one of the other things that we do is we actually roast our vegetables for the pizzas in the uni as well. So we just put them in a baking pan, make sure that it's to temp. When it comes to about 400 degrees, which you saw, we add in our veggies, and then the veggies will roast in about 3 to 4 minutes, which is incredible. And that's what we use on top of our pizzas usually. So for the pizza dough itself, once it has risen, my mom usually lets it do 2 rises. She will turn it out onto a floured surface, and the einkorn pizza crust is much more delicate than a traditional pizza crust, so she just used her hands and very gently kind of stretched it out with her hands. You don't want to really like flip it up in the air like you can do with regular pizzas because it is so delicate. So that is what we did with that. And then the final step is to assemble your pizza. So you're going to put cornmeal on your wood peel. That will just make sure that it kind of slides easily when you kind of slide it into the uni. And then for your toppings, you can just build it on top of the peel. But for the toppings, we did some Rayo's tomato sauce. And I just added on the sauce and then the veggies. We just basically like had caramelized onions and all the roasted veggies that we had. And then finish it off with some vegan cheese. And that was it. So we'll just take the whole peel outside to where we have the uni. And then you can just slide it directly into the uni pizza oven. And then you can cook it for another, like I said, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. You want to turn it every 30-ish seconds or so to make sure that one spot doesn't get too burnt. But just kind of spin it around, and once it's cooked and golden brown and the crust is crispy and the cheese is melted, you are pretty much done. And we basically do this with 4 pizzas at a time usually. So we will cook one, pop it in the oven, cook another, pop it in the oven, and then we eat them all together. So that is pretty much how you can make pizza on or in an uni pizza. We actually have tested just store-bought gluten-free crust. So if you did want to do gluten-free, you could buy like the little Northern Bakehouse crust, you could buy the Bonza crust, basically any sort of crust will work. You just have to watch it a little bit more carefully because those are pre-cooked, but you can totally do that as well in the uni, and it works really, really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a fun video to film, and this is something that my parents have been loving lately, so it was fun to share it with you guys. All right, friends, it is a couple days later. We've actually now since had 2 pizza nights at my parents' house, and I have actually been fine with the einkorn flour. So not sure what that means for like my diet going forward, but it was a good experience, and I'm glad that I was able to enjoy that flour. So something to just like keep in mind. Obviously, like I know there are some people that are watching that are severely intolerant and or have celiac disease, like probably not something that you want to experiment with. But if you are someone that can maybe tolerate low gluten products, then einkorn would be a really great option, which I will link down below for you. I'll also link down the Uuni. This by no means was sponsored. It was just a really fun thing to try, and my parents have been loving theirs. Whenever we get our house, we definitely will get one. My brother's planning on getting one. Like basically, we're just spreading this pizza love because who doesn't love making wood-fired pizza at home? So if you do want to check out that pizza maker, you can find that down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any summer video requests, let me know in the description box or in the comment box, and like the recipe, anything else that you need to know will be in the description box for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. And otherwise, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.